Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Wigan Fan TV and what has been a quiet day for Wigan. Nothing much has happened. We've just had the John Bateman announcement, which has been about 6 months in the making, actually happen. And then we've got the announcement at 8 o'clock of what we assume and presume will be the new head coach or head coaches or coaching team or whatever that might be. So we're going to do another video about 5 to 8, which is on the Facebook page a little bit lower down, and you'll get a message about that. But for 15, 20 minutes or so, I'm joined by Rob, who's our resident Castleford fan. Good evening, Rob.
Good evening. How you doing?
Yeah, good, excited. It's an exciting day, even though Bateman's left. It's an exciting day to be a Wigan fan. It's like next half an hour. I mean, it could all be a massive, downer at 1 minute past 8, but I don't think it will be. David, thank you for joining us. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to sort of run through everything. We're going to get a Castleford perspective from Rob and then a Wigan perspective from David. And I forgot that there's a game on Friday with so much going on. Rob, let's start with you. We've spoken a few times this year. We've had the postponed game, then we've had the actual games that have gone through. The last time we played you, I know you gave Mark a bit of a hard time at the Weldon Road after the last minute defeat. I guess you must be happy with the way Cass are going at this moment in time, going into the Super.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're considering the amount of players we've got out, we're sort of going under the radar this season as opposed to last season where we sort of beat everybody. But even now, we've still got 7 or 8 players out of the squad for Wigan. But to be in third place at this stage is absolutely fantastic. And let's be honest, Wigan and Cass, we're both 80 minutes away from Old Trafford, aren't we, really? Because Huddersfield literally need to win all their games, and we both need to, or one of us needs to lose pretty much all of ours. So it's it's good. It's a really good season.
Do you think we've pretty much got, I guess, David, do you think that we've got the biggest game of the Super, or the most important game of the Super 8s in game 1? It's, if Wigan win, they put 3 points between ourselves and Cass. Cass, when it's advantage Cass, they'll have a 1 point advantage over us for the rest. Do you think it's an intentional ploy by the Super League to get this game first?
Well, you never know what goes on in the Super League headquarters, do you? But yeah, it seems that way. I just think, like Rob just said, the top 4 are pretty much nailed on. It's got to take an almighty collapse from one team in an almighty run from someone from 5th and 6th to get anywhere near the top 4. Saints are nailed on for top spot. So again, Wigan and Cass and Warrington are battling for that home advantage in the semi-final of the playoffs, really. So yeah, I think Wigan will be looking to try and get a bit of cushion between them and Cass. Cass will be looking to get in the upper hand as well. So yeah, all to play for. I think the Super 8 sometimes can be a bit of a damp squib because you just running through the motions. I think a lot of the attention goes on the £1 million game. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one Friday, I think.
Obviously, the advantage, I guess, is, or what both teams are aiming for, is that advantage of a home semi-final in sort of 8-9 weeks' time. Rob, how important is that from a Castleford point of view to get a team back to Weldon Road? I mean, it's a horrible place, isn't it? I mean, it really, really is a horrible place. But how important is that for I view it as being really important for us as Wigan fans to try and get teams back to the DW. We've got a decent record there. Is it the same for you? Is it, or do you fancy your chances of going away to Saints or Wigan?
Well, we've been to Wigan before, haven't we, and beaten you in the playoffs. First ever game at the JJB.
It was Gavin Clinch playing for Wigan in that game. That's how good our side was.
You'd rather play at home. This game is important. Don't get me wrong, especially for if we lose, then that does give you a cushion. If we win, then it's still all to play for because there's still only a point between us. The way the fixtures have worked out, it's worked out quite well for Cass because we've got St Helens last up. When you'd like to think, well, it's all going to be done and dusted. We've got Warrington the week before the Challenge Cup final, so that gives us another good advantage. I would fancy the chances against Wigan at Cass or at your place, if I'm honest. But obviously, we'd rather play at home. It's a good atmosphere when it's full.
I mean, I don't think anybody would want to go to, you look back to last year in your semi-final against St Helens and you basically had about 6 weeks to sell out the game because you'd won the League Leaders Shield that early on. And it is a horrible place to go to on a Thursday night, Friday night with the fans so close. And I guess that's a big thing for Wigan, is looking to try and get that home advantage in the semi-final. I think David's being attacked by his cat at the minute.
Yeah, Ted's coming around.
David, the Wigan squad has been announced today. It's hard to sort of focus on this. I know because we've got sort of 25 minutes to go, but it looks like Ollie Partington's going to get his long-awaited debut on Friday night. Obviously, Talima Tautai's been banned for 4 games. George Williams returns. Ryan Sutton returns. Lockers is still out. I felt like the start of the Super 8s was going to be a fresh start for us. We would get those kinds of players back. We've not got them all back yet. No. And it feels like a continuation from the Catalans game. We're not quite at full strength. How do you view the squad that they've picked? Do you think we've got enough to beat Cas on Friday?
I think so. Yeah, I've got friends who are Cas fans as well. So Cas are obviously still missing a few players. So I do think... I think the crucial thing for me is what we do at halfback as well, because we've still not got that quite right. Williams coming back in, is he going to go to Williams and Powell again, which hasn't really hit it off, or is he going to try something different? It's
interesting. Woods is in the squad still as well, isn't it? So you've got Woods, Powell, Escaré, Williams, and Tompkins all in the squad. So there's
there's quite a few options there, and I don't know whether Cas would be the right game to try something completely new. I don't know whether I'd be tempted to put Tompkins. I don't know whether I'd be Tompkins. Tompkins at halfback with Williams and Escaré at fullback. I don't know what Escaré's got to do to get a decent shot at game time. It's a tricky one, but I'm hopeful we can beat Cas with the players they've got missing, as opposed to anything else really.
I mean, I think it's interesting that we come into this game after the Catalans game 2 weeks ago, and that was the longest Escaré played. I think it was probably because we were playing against 12 men. Thought tired legs, and Escaré played pretty much 40, if not longer, minutes. He didn't get subbed back off. Rob, do you want to take us through the Cas side a little bit? I remember the last time we spoke, you had a massive problem that you couldn't solve at fullback, which seems to have now been solved. Are you happy with the recruitment that you've done, I guess, during the season to solve that problem?
They're like busting out the fullbacks at Cas, so we've not had one all season. And then we've got QLT that's come in. We'll be playing fullback on Friday, and then we've also signed Matante, but he's injured. He's got a slight hamstring, so he's not in the squad. So we were sort of sold the same thing, that Gale would be back for the playoffs, and we'd have a full squad. But we haven't. I counted 8 players, 7 players out, 9 if you count Hitchcock, who's obviously gone because he's injured. But we were a little bit soft up front because we've got no Millington, we've got no Cook. Will Mayer's come back into the squad, Wardle's come back, and he hasn't really showed us what he can do so far. So hopefully he might be fully fit this time and be able to go into the second row rather than being forced to play in the centres because of the injuries. I think the break definitely helps Cas more than it helps Wigan because of our injuries. We've not been able to rotate all season, so we've had a break. So there may be a bit fresher, but looking at your team, I mean, Escaré tears us apart every time. When we played at your place earlier in the season, Tompkins caught everything, literally everything. We're a bit wary of those 2 players in particular. I hope it is Powell and Williams in the halves. If I'm completely honest, I think we've got enough to win. I just think we're going to have a bit of a weak bench. If I'm completely honest,
you'll need to fill in for Sean while he's there buffering at the moment. Just going back, Rob, just on your points about the semis. Who do you like? Obviously, we know Saints are going to be at home, aren't they? But who do you think? Who would you rather play if you had to play away? Would you choose Wigan to play away rather than anybody else? I was tossing this around in my head before, and I was thinking from a Wigan perspective, we don't have a great record at Cas, we don't have a great record at Warrington, and I probably want to play Saints. Really, are you back with us, Sean?
Yeah,
I'm back with you. Sorry. The joys of I've got so many different tabs open to try and find out what's happening, and I've got my phone right next to the computer, so I think that's affecting things. But yeah, I'll carry on, David.
I obviously would rather be at home. If you're asking me who I think we'll play, since Wayne has announced that he's leaving, I think that we'll end up playing Warrington at home. I think we'll finish second. I think Warrington will finish third. But now they're in the Challenge Cup final, you can throw away a couple of results for that, or that's the way it seems to go. And also, depending on what your announcement is, it could really... your results definitely dropped when Wayne announced that he was leaving. I mean, you've beaten Leeds, but...
Everybody else.
Yeah. And I think you had another close win, didn't you? So I'm not entirely sure who who would rather play, but I just think we'll play Warrington, if I'm honest, and I think it'll be at Cass.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
I would say that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Rob, you've touched on it there. The announcement of Sean Wayne obviously had a detrimental effect on the season, and it's whether the announcement of whatever the announcement is in a few minutes' time has a completely opposite effect. I mean, I guess that's what they're hoping for. David, the other announcement that was timed by Wigan today is a John Bateman announcement.
Yeah.
What's on the Bateman deal? We obviously knew it was going, but it's the Bateman deal that he returns in 3 years as a marquee player that I think has surprised me.
Yeah, it surprised me, to be honest with you. I didn't see that one coming at all. I think we spoke about it a few weeks ago on here. Sure, I said if the only option was to keep Bateman was to get him as a marquee player, then I wouldn't really plump for it, because I don't think a second rower, as brilliant as John Bateman is, and he's a marquee player in every other aspect, but he's not going to lose you games, but he's not going to win you games like a Hardacre will or a Tompkins could do. So, yeah, I mean it's good forward thinking for Wigan, because what is he now, 24? So he's going to be 27 when he comes back, second rower. So that's still prime age, but we've been burnt before, haven't we, with players coming back from the NRL. So what's he going to be like in 3 years? Is he going to get injured? So yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. I think Phil Wilkinson touched on it earlier on today. The press release said a deal had been agreed. The actual statements on the website said a deal had been signed, and I think it's that, what's the get out for either one of them, really?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be taking back an injured player, do you? Sort of 2-3 years into the contract. I think that's the biggest issue, but it's probably a positive way to sort of announce the deal. It's certainly a way of putting a twist on it.
Yeah.
Before we sort of end this very short broadcast, and we'll be back in 10 minutes or so on another video for the announcement. Rob, give us your thoughts on how the game's going to be won by Cass on Friday.
I think we're going to win by 14. I think it's going to be won by throwing the ball around. It really does depend on which Jamie Ellis turns up, because he's had some outstanding games and he's had some below average games. Truman is coming back in, but he still needs someone to hold his hand, I think. So if we do win it, it's going to be by throwing the ball around. We're not going to beat you up front this time, because we've got too many forwards out. And hopefully it'll be a nice trip back across the M62 with all those wonderful diversions.
Never nice on a Friday.
That's never enjoyable, no matter.
You mentioned the semi-final, Sean.
Yeah, I know. Like that was, we're going to spend half an hour sort of gloating, weren't we? You because Leeds got battered, and us because Catalans beat Saints. Just other things have taken. David, your reaction then to we were going to come on with berets and everything, weren't we? Your reaction to what was a fantastic performance from Catalan, first of all.
Yeah, I think that's what you got to point to. I mean, a lot of people saying Saints didn't turn up, Saints were poor. I think that's doing a bit of a disservice to Catalan. I mean, I'm not Steve McNamara's biggest fan by any stretch of the imagination. I think he's been lucky to get the jobs he's got, and a little bit overrated, but fair play to him for this season with Catalans, and that result's been coming to Saints. They've not played particularly well for probably 7 or 8 weeks.
Catalans played really well at Wigan, well in that with 12 men and so many players out. Exactly,
and I just think maybe that's going to be the kick up the backside Saints needs, or they might just turn the season back on track again. But I think Wigan, Warrington, and Cass will sort of be licking the lips at the playoffs, because Catalan have shown how to beat them, and it can be done. It's at the end of the day, as Rob said earlier, you're 80 minutes away from the grand final now, and I think any of the sides can do them on the day with a full strength team. So yeah, fantastic.
Last season, didn't it? We started to get found out a little bit in the playoffs, and then obviously the grand final was grand final. So I mean, from a plus point, the season's not over, is it? So it just goes to show that
I think if you're a Saints fan, I think I'd be more concerned about Holbrook's comments after the game. He said, "I don't know how to pick my side back up." You will lose games, you get knocked out of competitions. It's almost as if they thought it was going to be a given. They were already at Wembley. Rob, I'll give you a couple of minutes to tell us about the demise of Leeds, because I'll enjoy listening to it as much as I know you're a big fan of Sinfield and Lowe's as much as I am.
Honestly, Agent Lowe's, he's still a Bradford fan, isn't he? He's going to be there. He's going to take him down. What we'll say is, in the last 6 weeks, Castle played the bottom 4 teams, and Leeds were by far the worst. And they're the only team that haven't strengthened. Widnes looked half decent when we played them. We played them at their place last game of the season, but we just hit them with two spurts, one in each half tries. I think Leeds are going to struggle. I wouldn't be surprised if they're. I don't think they'll go down. I think, but they could end up in the £1 million game. And if they do, I've heard a lot of Cast fans saying it's not good for the league if Leeds get relegated. But from my point of view, I will laugh my tits off.
We'll just end up with a 13 teams league next year.
I'm sure but
it's the same if Wigan ever get relegated, there'll be a 13 team season the following year. We run the RFL. Do you not know? Rob, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. David will be back in 10 minutes. Mark will probably be joining us in 10 minutes. And we look forward to what hopefully is a good announcement for Wigan fans. I'm sure it will be. I mean, there's lots of sort of joking rumours going about how we're going to just announce the big 1-6 or Kelvin Gorillas coming back or things along that line. But I think they've built it up so much that we will be pleased. So join us again in sort of 10 minutes time for the reaction. Rob, thank you again for joining us, and I'm sure we'll meet again at some point in the semi-finals, whether it be at Weldon Road or the DW.
Cheers, Sean.
Thanks a lot, guys. See you in 10 minutes.
Right, we're out. Cheers, David. I'll speak to you another time, I'm sure.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Have a safe trip over as well.